Well, I'm probably going to get banned because I'm out here watching the Jays game on my phone and having the audio on. Dalton Varsho, do the work here. That's a hell of a frame there by Raleigh. Tell you what, that was not a strike. Way outside. So I say that's way inside. What a swing that was. How's everybody doing tonight? Season 17 of Midwest F1 kicking off here. Should have a halfway decently sized grid. Of course, we still got about 5 minutes until quali kicks off, so we shall see. Season 17, tell you what, we've had a lot of good memories. Season 16, we had the 5-year anniversary Grand Prix. That was the highlight of last season. Race Day 2016, I don't believe is in this lobby yet, but he is. This could be the campaign in which he officially, as the Blue Jays is going to score a run on a walk here, very good. This could be the season where Race Day 2016 looks to capture his 6th driver's title, which would make him the most successful Midwest F1 driver of all time. We've got some fresh faces in here as well. Got a couple of guys I haven't had the privilege of commentating over yet. We got Yori Candelario in the Aston Martin, as well as Proto in the Williams. Sometimes they change names, and I don't quite know what the old name was. But I can tell you right now, those are 2 names I do not recognize. As there is Race Day 2016. Race Day has won 4 titles on the bounce as well. And you know what, again, last season, and we talked about this a couple of times, last season was not some sort of runaway campaign immediately. It took him a good, 7 rounds out of the 15 to actually start having good success this season. But he's got the opportunity to do it again. When we look at the Division 1 rep, well, that hasn't been updated in 4 seasons, dearie me. But yeah, Race Day 2016, as we enter Season 17, could have his 5th title in a row, make him 6 all-time, and that would put him as the most successful Midwest F1 driver in history. Race Day, actually last season, during Season 16, became the 2nd driver to achieve 100 top 10s in Division 1, made his 150th start overall, 100th podium. Gunnar, Houdini, and Lancey, and Cali Raw became the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th drivers to make 100 Division 1 starts, which is quite the achievement. Nicky made his 150th D1 start. Scornsy made his 150th D1 top 5. Gunnar and Edwin made his 150th start as well. Lancey scored his 100th top 10 overall, 7th driver to do so. First race of Season 16 was the 200th for Division 2 Electric Blade. And he has actually become the first ever 2-time Division 2 champion. Now, how it's worked prior to this is how we've done it was that we got a promotion relegation bit going. Since the league has slightly shrunken since COVID's ended and whatnot, how we do it is this Division 1 is no assists, Division 2 is all assists. We do also experiment with the no racing line races as well here in Division 1. Those have been a hoot, can I just say. I don't believe that's... is that the case tonight? Can I look and see? No, there will be racing line for tonight. But it's about half and half now, the schedule, based on Racing Line, no Racing Line. Mexico, Australia, Great Britain in the correct direction, Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, Belgium, Austria in the correct direction, and Singapore all without Racing Line this season. So it should be quite phenomenal, actually, as we're kind of getting up here. I actually as well have the Division 2 lobby host on standby with his driver count for this evening. So if potentially Division 1 doesn't get all their ducks in the same pond, maybe we can have a look at the Division 2 race. Either way. 2 outs, top of the third, 1-1 to Barger. That's a fastball for strike 2. Base is still loaded. Remember when Addison Barger came up through the Fisher Cat system there? He was quite the player. Always knew that he... Sometimes, as long as I've been watching minor league baseball games, and as well as now having this year worked in minor league baseball as well, you do know when a driver's got what it takes to make the big time, and he has done that. And here he is. And he struck out. But that's no big deal. Blue Jays put up 3 in the third inning, 3-1 the score. After the home run from Andres Jimenez, and then the run being walked in just now, and then I believe there was a base hit somewhere in there as well. Haven't quite been watching, as we now have Element, Gunner, and Drismic having just joined, which is phenomenal. Apologize, I'm slightly under the weather this evening. That's the only thing I gotta say. I love living where I do in the Northeast United States. I do really appreciate everything about it. What I will say is this. A week and a half ago, we were in the 80s. Today, we did not get above 45. It is definitely cold and flu season. That is definitely for true. '17, that'd be a good grid. I know, nowadays having the full 20 is kind of a rarity, but having anything above 15 is a really healthy grid. I think anything below that, realistically, if it's like 13 to 15, I'm just not going to be bothered with casting it, honestly. '18 now. Usually I have some music going here, but for what it's worth, I don't feel like getting banned today. Usually I don't care, honestly. That's a good point, I don't have enough followers to be monetized on, I think, either Twitch or YouTube. And so I can play copyrighted music and not really get killed for it, because, what's going to happen, right? But we are just about ready to go here. Season 17. I mean, could you believe that? What if there's And we got 30 seconds to go time here, friends. Let me go ahead and drop this in the Monkey Mafia stream section. Eventually. I don't actually know where it is. It's okay. No big deal. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Season 17 of the Midwest F1 League here from the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. 17 seasons? You're kidding me? We're doing another one of these things? We got a good grid for you tonight. 18 cars coming up here. And on the season where it is potential that Race Day 2016 becomes the winningest driver on the championship level in Midwest F1 history, he's going after his 6th title tonight. 4 titles on the bounce, and then the one extra before that, I believe that was, what, season 10? When was that? Season 9. And then 4 titles on the bounce, 13, 14, 15, and 16. It has been an insane turn of events to be able to watch him as a driver continue to grow and dominate. And as well, the big thing as well is that he did not, we say dominate. Domination was not necessarily the case last season. He really had to battle and claw for the success that he did have, and I'm sure that he'll be looking to maybe run away with it as much as he can in this one, but we'll have to wait and see how that one turns out. Circuit of the Americas tonight. I'd say is this the biggest American racetrack there is as far as road course racing? I know it's it's not the most historic, only opened in 2015, it was, something like that. But this track has definitely made a lot of memories, and I tell you what, in the past 5 years or so, we have had some phenomenal racing at this track. We absolutely have. And the phenomenal racing will continue as well this season. Next time out, October 23rd, we head to the... I don't remember the correct terminology for it. It's the Mexico City circuit for round number 2. No racing line for that one, as we have our first driver coming out on track here. That is going to be, well, the Mercedes, the Plums is on his way out. We've also got, I believe, is that an Alpine ahead of him. That's, assuming that's supposed to be like Juve, like Juventus? Juventino? Or Juventino? I don't know. And I say this as a public service announcement as well. If you hear me commentating your races and I've mispronounced your name, it's because I don't know, so definitely let me know. Anyway, as I was saying, October 30th, round 3, we head to the Albert Park Circuit in Melbourne. No racing line available for that one as well. November 6th, we head to Brazil. We head to then Silverstone. November 13th, no racing line for that one, and that's as well in the correct direction. We did the reverse circuit last season, didn't quite live up to expectations. Las Vegas, November 20th. We have November 27th off for Thanksgiving. December 4th, Abu Dhabi, with no racing line as well. Saudi Arabia, December 11th, no racing line for that one. December 18th, we're back to Monaco. We haven't raced Monaco in quite a little while. The last time we raced Monaco was April 24th, back in season 15, 6 months ago. That race was taken by Race Day 2016. Matter of fact, the last time we were here in COTA was also season 15, and that was round... Well, goodness me, that was the week right before Monaco. That is, tomorrow will be 6 months to the day, and that race was taken by Scornsey. But as we will have the week of December 25th off, obviously, for Christmas, and then as well January 1st for the New Year. January 8th, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, what many in this league consider to be their home race. January 15th for Belgium, Spa with no line. We round out the season, the final 4. Austria, the Red Bull Ring in the correct direction with no line. January 22nd, we head to Imola on the 29th. February 5th, Singapore, the penultimate round of the season, as well with no line. And then rounding things off at the Suzuka International Racing Course in Japan for the final round of Season 17. Juve's on his way out here in the Alpine. Obviously, Purple Sector 1 for him for now, as he'll make his way up through the crest of the hill and then back down again. And this is this very long run down the hill in towards turn 11. Quite the overtaking zone this is, if you're willing to make it happen. It's not always one of those comfortable situations where you really want to dive into that. Sometimes if you're desperate, you'll make it happen. DRS activated now, and I believe that DRS zone has actually been shortened quite a ways since, as far as I can remember. It used to be coming right out of the corner. And now in towards turn 12, heavy on the brakes, the left-handed corner. Plenty of runoff there, thankfully, if you're one of those to hit somebody or get hit. In towards 13 and 14. This is always a fun section here. This is supposed to copy the Hockenheim Stadium section here, turn 15. Just that little dip into the corner. Take that in correctly, and that car will go spinning on the back end. Triple right-hander, 16, 17, and 18. Fun couple of corners here, a couple of quick downshifts through 19. Try not to exceed track limits on the way out. He's actually had to take that one relatively slowly. And then in through turn 20 to round off the lap. Back on the throttle and across the line. It's a 134 for Juve, and I believe we're probably going to see a quicker lap than that here shortly. A couple of mistakes throughout that one. We got one of the Saubers on the way up. That's going to be electric plate. Let's go along with him. In towards turn 1 here. Obviously, the apex of the corner is totally blind as it comes to the crest. You can't see where to be able to turn in there. You got to use your best judgment as well as these guys. You know, there's probably a stage where this track is going to be used with no racing line. That's going to be a difficult one to take. Shankadelic currently the fastest lap of the 132.419. His electric blade sends it through the S's here, and with relatively clean track ahead of him, this should be quite a good one. Electric blade, one of the more talented drivers here in Division 1. I believe this will be one of his first treks into Division 1, and in quite some time. He's been kind of bouncing back and forth between Division 1 and Division 2. He actually won the Division 2 title last season, becomes the first ever multi-time Division 2 champion, if you could believe that. Currently, yep, Shankadelic does have that top spot. I believe that is the Williams around the final corner now of Proto. Another unfamiliar face that I have yet to have the pleasure of commentating over. Kelly Robb to the line now will go 6th, and Kelly Robb, not the best effort from him there, but very quick in his own right. And actually, this might be an interesting statistic. I believe this is his first ever season in Midwest F1 not donning the Ferrari red. Honestly, it has to be said that he's in the Mercedes this season, and I believe he's had Ferrari for the better part of maybe 5 to 7 seasons now, so that's quite funny. The Alpine of Gunner has gone second, 1.2 behind Race Day. Our reigning, defending, undisputed champion of the Midwest has currently put it in 4th, 1.3 behind. And, you know, Race Day won't always be the driver to have such a phenomenal first attempt to get to the top of the timing. You know, every time you start to think that he's a driver that may actually struggle in the qualifying session, he does usually get himself to the position to be on the front couple of rows there, and I'm assuming that's going to happen for him tonight as well. As Ayahuasca, 132.266, and Ayahuasca is definitely one of the better drivers here in Midwest on pure quali pace. This guy is unbelievably quick over the lap time. I mean, he is absolutely impressive 9 times out of 10. And, you know, sometimes he does have a bit of a deal with the bad luck during the race that may set him back. But, again, very talented driver. And I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, he can consistently be joining the lobbies and getting in here and participating week in, week out. I think he could challenge for a title. I really could. I could definitely see that happening. Got the Red Bull of Drismic making his way in through turn 20 at the moment, as I think this is going to be one of the slower times of the session so far. Yeah, P15 for Drismic, unfortunately. Kelly Robb at the final stage of the lap. Now I believe he will be starting another one here, assuming he's got the fuel to do so, which I think he should. That car does look quite hooked up here through the S's, and it's insane to see how quick you're actually able to take those Sector 1 S's now. I remember even back in the 2020 and 2021 game, those corners, you did have to brake quite significantly through them. The amount of downforce that are on these cars now does really pay dividend to that. Coming around the line now is going to be the Haas of Houdini. Houdini, a Midwest F1 veteran here, making his way up through the opening stage of the lap. Yori Candelario making his way through the S's, another driver who I haven't had the pleasure of commentating on before. First time for everything, and again, if you're listening to this and I mispronounce your name, it's because I don't know what it's supposed to be, so please tell me. I believe that will be the Mercedes of Kelly Robb coming through the Hockenheim section of the track now. He does appear to be sending this one on a flyer through the triple right-hander of 16, 17, and 18. And for the time being, he is going to be taking this lap to its completion here. It's not a bad-looking lap at all. Through turn 20, back on the throttle. Oh, it's going to be a little bit behind here. He has improved by 5.5 tenths of a second, still P12 for the time being. That is Kelly Robb. We got a Red Bull coming out of the final corner. I believe that is Drizmic into the pit lane. Ferrari of race day coming up next now, and he has invalidated that previous attempt. He's going to be into the pit lane here. We got the Sauber coming up next of Cam Tizzle. Cam Tizzle, another Midwest F1 veteran here. Out of the final corner, DRS activated, and across the line, and he has improved by about 1/4 of a second there. Still sits third, about a clean second, behind the top spot of Ayahuasca. Ayahuasca still, and again, we were talking earlier about just how good he is at his one-lap qualifying times here, and you can just see the top two for the time being kind of quite far away from the rest of the grid, actually. The rest of the grid looks fairly competitive here. But yeah, unbelievable times put down for the top two to begin with. 8:25 remaining in this session. I believe that's the Williams of, it's not the Williams of Proto. It's Gottney Weeb making his way out of turn 20 and across the line for him. This will be his second timed attempt. He's currently got Juve in for that 10th position by about 3/100ths of a second. Very close there in the midfield as we got the Haas. Oh, big wiggle coming out of turn 1 there, getting back on throttle. I tell you what, that was very impressive to be able to hold on to the car like he just did, because that thing was in every single direction except the correct one, and he was able to hold on and keep that one going. Yeah, is slower through Sector 1. That will probably be the end of his timed attempt, but it could have been the end of his session, so it could, whenever you think it's bad, it could absolutely be worse. Kelly Robb, I wonder, will he be beginning another timed attempt here? It looks like he will. I believe he's got enough fuel to do so. Straight line speed, not as important on this track in particular, just to how much downforce you do need to be able to make it through Sector 1. I tell you what, realistically speaking, Sector 1 almost dictates the setup for the entire lap here, because, Sector 1, twisty, turvy, beginning of Sector 2 even, I'll give it to you there as well, as that's what Kelly Robb's going through now. And then, of course, turn 11, and then down the long back straight here in DRS, but that's really about it, realistically. 12, 13, 14, 15. Not a huge amount of downforce required for that. It's pretty much, it's relatively slow speed anyway. Of course, the triple right-hander of 16, 17, and 18, that requires a little bit, but then 19 and 20. And, as well, I mean, it's a track that there's not really one correct setup for. We'll put it that way. I mean, there's so many different situations that you could put your car into. Whatever feels comfortable for you. This is definitely the track to be doing it. It's not like Monaco where you got to smack the downforce on necessarily. It's not like Monza where you got to take everything off. This is definitely a driver's track, this, to be able to feel what is comfortable. As Kelly Robb through the final stages of the lap now, I don't believe this is going to be very much of an improvement from him, and as a matter of fact, it isn't at all. About 1/10.5 slower. Ferrari coming around the line now. That is race day, and I believe this will be the beginning of a timed attempt for the reigning champion here. 5 minutes 50 remaining in the qualifying session, out of turn 1 and down the hill. So let's go along board here with the reigning champion. And again, as you can tell, totally flat. Wow, he was flat pretty much throughout that whole thing. Just the one lift in the downshift there. Purple Sector 1, and how about that? Battery being used now down the hill towards turn 11, and relatively clear track ahead of him as well. Doesn't have a teammate this evening in the Ferrari garage. It looks like it's just going to be himself. 18 drivers in the grid, not bad at all. We're missing a Ferrari and a McLaren. Down the back straight, DRS activated, and let's see what his top speeds are looking like here. About 325 entering the braking zone, not bad. Haven't quite kept track on anybody else, but as well. Purple Sector 2, nearly 7.5 tenths quicker through Sector 2 alone. Purple Sector 1, Purple Sector 2. But this is where it gets stressful now, because this 1920, got to really be careful not to exceed track limits, and I think he maybe could have taken that a little bit quicker, but as you can tell, it's just being safe, honestly. On the throttle and across the line, and it's going to be third, 1:32.735, improves by nearly a full second, and still 4.5 of a second off the top spot of Ayahuasca. That looked, for all intents and purposes, a picture-perfect lap. And Ayahuasca's done one even better. 1:31.814. Race day 2016, we were on for him that entire lap. I could not pick one mistake that he had just made, and Ayahuasca has done that one even more. 4 minutes remaining in the qualifying session here. I don't know who's going to have what to be able to top this Aston Martin, but we're going to have to, hopefully. I mean, I tell you what, and again, as we mentioned before, qualifying does not always result in race pace or race success, realistically. Ayahuasca, one of those drivers, has great qualifying sessions, doesn't always find the luck in the races, but I tell you what, if he's able to find that little bit of luck and, can have some continuous attendance here, bro, I think he could genuinely compete for a championship here in Division 1. I think he's absolutely got the potential to be able to do it. That is an Alpine making the way up the first corner here. That's Juve and on his way out as well. McLaren behind him of Element. Again, a very tight midfield here. P6 down to, P11, separated by 0.3 of a second. It's very close midfield there. Sure, for instance, after all, we got 2 100ths between Element and Houdini for that 8th position, as well as only about 4 100ths between Shiraya and Gunner for the 6th position. Great stuff. And as well, 6 100ths between Cam Tizzle and Plums for 4th. No, I tell you what, there's going to be no shortage of action in this one. Qualifying times are definitely, they're definitely misleading at times, as Ayahuasca appears to have retired from the session, doesn't want to burn through another set of tires, and nor does he need to. And Yuri Candelario, P2, 0.3 of a second off his teammate, and again, the first time that I've knowingly commentated on Yuri here, and I believe maybe he's changed his name from something else, but the first time that I've commentated on Yuri, and goodness me, he's definitely made an impression here, hasn't he? 2 minutes 5 remaining. Out of the final corner now, I believe that is going to be the Alpine of Gunner. It's actually Juve. P6 for him. 0.8 of a second improvement. Great one for him. Gets kind of into that, I don't want to say midfield bracket. 6th place for him. 4 1,000th behind Cam Tizzle for the 5th spot. Good 6 100th ahead of Plums for that 6th spot. Tell you what, way to insert yourself into the proceedings here. 90 seconds in this quali session. And Juve's teammate, a Gunner here, making his way out of turn 20. As the Blue Jays are going to score on a wild pitch here in the top of the 4th. It's 5-1 Jays. Hell yeah, dude. Love to see that. Shankadelic has invalidated this time somewhere on this lap as we are down to the final minute. I believe that was going through turn 10. Just that little kink. If we'll go on with go along with Gunner here to tell you what I'm talking about. He's either gone wide there on the exit, or he's just cut this little kink to the inside there. That's probably what he's done, because he's invalidated after Sector 1. Is what it seems like, as Race Day has invalidated this. And 30 seconds remaining here for Race Day. I don't believe he's going to get another opportunity. 25 seconds remaining now. And he is behind a whole mess of traffic. Yeah, that one's going to be close. I don't think he's going to make it. Cam Tizzle, sorry, who was that? That's Element, who's just gone to the 6th position for the McLaren. Coming around the line now, that was the Sauber, I believe, of Electric Blade, has just been able to barely get one going again. Shankadelic to the line. I believe he's been able to start another one here. As to the line now, we've got, that's the Williams of Proto, P15, as well as the Ferrari of Race Day. Race Day did not have the opportunity to make another time to tempt happen. As we've got Juve entering the pit lane now. Behind him, that's Element, actually, in the grass there, but he's already finished his time to tempt. Gunner seems to have gone off somewhere in the proceedings. We've got a Red Bull of Drismic, who I don't even know what's happening with him. That's a little odd. Is anybody else on a time to tempt, as Drismic has been disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location. Qualified P18 anyway, not going to matter too much on that. Cam Tizzle, that was, what, a 0.3 of a second improvement there through Sector 2. One of the final remaining drivers on a timed attempt here. Coming around the line now, we have both of the Visa Cash App Racing Bull F1 team drivers here, as Shirai's actually going to go a little bit wide there at a 19. Kate Thomas across the line now, and for him it's 10th. Shirai coming up now, and he will stay 12th. But it is that now of Cam Tizzle across the line for him. And there he is, up to 4th, 132.665. Improved by 6.5 of a second. Got the Haas of Chuck Blazin up next, and I believe that will be the final. Unless Electric Blade as well. Chuck Blazin will go P11, Electric Blade across the line for him, and he'll go 8th, 133.211. Improved by nearly 0.8 of a second there. As Plum's into the pit lane, so here is your starting grid then. For the American Grand Prix, Ayahuasca and Yori Candelario. Front row lockout for the Aston Martins. Only 0.3 of a second separate them. 0.3 back will be Shankadelic 3rd, Cam Tizzle 4th. 5th race day, the reigning champion. That will be the top 5. And that's everybody within a second of that pole time set by Ayahuasca. 6th for Gunner, 7th for Element. And by the way, only 1/1000th of a second separating Element and Electric Blade for that 7th position. That's as close as it gets right there. Racing session coming up next, and we'll just go through the rest of the order as we were. So anyway, Juve in 9th in the Alpine in his, I believe, debut. 2.5 behind, and as I said, 9th place. Plums in 10th. Kate Thomas 11th. It'll be Chuck Blaze in 12th. 13th belongs to Gottney Weeb. 14th Shiraya. 15th Houdini. 16th Proto. 17th for Kelly Robin Drismic. Will round out the grid P18 after having been disqualified, having parked it on the outside of turn 20. Ayahuasca, what a precedent he's set in this quali session. Will it last entering the race? We'll have to find out here shortly. And as I say again, what a phenomenal Season 17 we've got coming up for you here. I'll tell you what, this league continues to amaze me on how much we're able to do and how much we're able to keep things going here. It's been a phenomenal ride to be on, and for the time being, doesn't look like it's got any chance of stopping whatsoever. So hopefully that all stays true, and we can continue to have more of this great Midwest F1 League that I've had the pleasure of commentating on since Season 2. I started out, I believe, was the inaugural race of Division 2. I've been here for quite a while, and I've enjoyed every race that I've done. I believe I want to say at least over 150 Grand Prix cast in this league alone. So okay, I'm probably above 200 now, surely. As of Season 14, Round 1, it was 132 Grand Prix that I've cast here for Midwest F1. Wow, statistics, love to see it. So as the formation lap begins, let's have a look at the tire strategies for this evening. Well, only 2 of which have decided to go hard, that being Shiraya and Callie Robb. Everybody else remains medium. So, I genuinely have to look at Yori here, just on what he's been able to do. And again, we don't know much about Yori. He's only just recently come into the league, I believe. And to be able to have put himself in such a good position here in a qualifying session along with Ayahuasca, this is going to be an insane beginning to his Midwest F1 tenure, assuming it all goes to plan. If you're of the Canadian sort and you're wondering about the Blue Jays game, bottom of the 4th, Toronto leads 5-1 after an incredible 3rd inning, and then 2 additional runs scored here in the 4th. Jorge Polanco up to bat, 1-2 count with 1 out. Scherzer only on his 50th pitch of the game. So lap 12 to 14 is the projected stop for mediums to hards. It looks like the game is only suggesting the one stop this evening. A couple of the tracks on schedule, we start to get kind of two stoppers into the mix. It's starting to get good to see. I wish we had that quali rule where it was whoever in the top 10, whatever you qualified on. As far as tires, that's what you started the race on. It was such a way to open up tire strategy even more than what we had. As we actually have a little bit of a backup here in the formation lap. Element is either gone slowly or there's been some sort of conundrum. Well, I say that, it looks like maybe it's just the top 5-6 cars are actually quicker. I don't know, tough to tell. It's difficult because you either weave and you kind of eat up tire life, or you drive quickly, and try to speed up things that way, the tire warming. It's kind of a difficult balance to be able to find. So race day 2016, again, eyes on him. Kicks off the campaign to look to secure his 6th driver's title, becomes the winningest driver all time as far as championships are concerned. He's tied with Scornsey, the legend himself, at 5 after winning 4 titles in the bounce. Does the quest for 6 begin tonight? Well, we're about to find out. Both Aston Martins line up on the grid. Front row lockout for them as the lights begin to turn on here. For the first round, 17 seasons of Midwest F1. That's insane. And even more insane, I'm sure this first lap is going to be, as Element has already picked up a drive-through penalty. Oh, look at him go way up the outside. Oh, that's insane. As it looks already, that's Ayahuasca's been able to keep the top spot, but that's Yori kind of starting to get shuffled back there. Ayahuasca's been able to hold it around the outside. Yori still wheel to wheel with his teammate here as they begin to enter the S's, and this is not usually a section of the track you want to go side by side through, but it looks as if the Astons have kept it clean for now, as Yori has taken the second spot. Shankadelic right up the back end of Ayahuasca here, as Ayahuasca, again, let's not forget, Element has the drive-through penalty for jumping the start, so Ayahuasca net -1 at the moment. As we cycle on through, Shariah could potentially find a way around Gunner. It looks as if Gunner is unfortunately disconnected from the session. I don't believe I have him friended either, or he hasn't had me friended. Here's Gani Weave to the inside of the Plums, and as you can see, the Plums already struggling with some front wing damage. The left side of the end plate is gone, and not only will that hurt downforce, that will hurt braking performance as well. And in Division 1, no assists, no ABS for you. That is going to be quite difficult to deal with indeed, as they make their way in through Sector 3 now for the first time. Element, of course, as we saw, had the drive-through penalty for jumping the start. He will have to serve that. Yori Candelario, who has taken the position on the opening lap from his teammate of Ayahuasca after a good, hard-fought, clean battle between the two of them, will eventually lead the way here. Ayahuasca will be second. Shankadelic will be third. His Element has actually stayed out an additional lap here. I don't know what much of a advantage he's looking to gain from that, but I don't think he's going to gain very much at all. DRS has been activated here on the second lap of the Grand Prix. That will be available to the car within a second to the car ahead, and making their way either down the pit straight or exiting turn 11 in towards turn 12, the very long back straight as they snake their way through. It looks as if everything has calmed down for the time being. We got Gunner in the Alpine, however. Still, unfortunately for him, has yet to retake control of his car. That's the Racing Bull of Cake Thomas trying to find a way around the Plums here, and the Plums again has that wing damage on the left side that will hurt his car, and at a track where downforce is absolutely necessary, that's going to be very tough for him indeed. Gotney Weeb seems to have lost about a second and a half to Electric Blade ahead for that 7th position. As you can see again, lap 12 to 14, that will be the one stop there for the hard tires. Element has been overtaken by Yore in towards turn 12. As the top 6 cars actually within close range of each other here. Shariah seems to have gone down the inside of the Ghost of Gunner in towards 12. Proto and Cali Rob, good little battle going on here for the time being. As you can see, Proto just trying to keep it clean. Oh, he'll switch back to the inside. That's a good move there from the Williams, albeit for P14. But good-looking move that, and Chuck Blazen's actually been able to sneak his way in there as well. And once again, Element's going to stay out here. I believe he's only got one more lap to serve that penalty. He's got to do it this time by something like that. I'm not entirely sure if that's the rule with that, as Element's still trying to find his way to the inside of Yori in through turn 1. Not going to happen. Shankadelic is actually all over the back end of Ayahuasca here. Ayahuasca, having since lost that position to his teammate, has not really been on the offensive whatsoever since the offers. I think Shankadelic is definitely going to be one to want to attack here. Wants to avoid a situation where those two Astons could work together, and the Red Bull's going to try to make that happen. Race Day 2016, patiently waiting his turn at the back of this battle as well. Ayahuasca, 10th and a half now, looking forward on Element in towards turn 11, and I don't believe he's going to make it happen there. Unless, well, I tell you what, a bit of a shock. He didn't quite make it through into the braking zone, but now DRS activated as well for the McLaren ahead. That's not going to matter, as Ayahuasca will go down to the inside, and I think should easily have this one. Yes, he does. Shankadelic watches on. Oh, a bit late on the brakes there. Ooh, that was quite dangerous indeed, as that car nearly went clean into the back end of the McLaren. And that has pretty much opened the door for Race Day as well to get himself even further up into the top 5. Cam Tizzle in pursuit as well. To the inside, Shankadelic on Element. Maybe a little bit of contact there with the left rear of the McLaren. Three-tenths of a second and still. As I wonder if, dare we say, papaya rules between the two Aston Martins. It'd be interesting to see if they work together or battle with each other. As we saw on lap 1 there, I was kind of expecting maybe one of them to back off for the other, as again, they were going side by side through those S's. And again, that's such a dangerous part of the track to be able to go through side by side, because you can't trust that the car ahead of you is going to have enough grip to not slide throughout the corner in Korean India there. And I was kind of surprised that Yori was willing to take that risk in such early stages with his teammate there, and yet still. 0.3 of a second now. Yeah, see, this is where it gets interesting here. Because I don't know if Ayahuasca is going to be willing to do the dirty work necessary, at least at this stage. Ayahuasca definitely a worthy competitor of his own right, but I think even he knows that this is a bit early to be battling as hard as you can, even with your teammate here. It's 0.3 of a second heading into 12, and he's not going to get the opportunity. Or will he? Bit of a slow go there through the acceleration phase of turn 12, as Yori has actually lost about, what, a two-tenth of a second there and through that corner. Shankadelic has now got himself into the picture as well. Race Day 2016 seems to have fallen behind a little bit. Should still have DRS down the pit straight, but we'll have to wait and see if that will carry in through towards turn 11 next time by. Exiting turn 20 they go, down the pit straight and up the hill in towards turn 1. Let's see, as Proto is going to get the first track limits penalty of the day for multiple warnings. Plums has entered the pit lane, and I believe that is probably to replace that front wing. Again, had that contact in the opening lap there, has lost the front wing, the end plate on the left side, and yet that will be the wing change there for the Plums. Hard tires going on for the Mercedes in question. And again, this is a track that so much downforce necessary. You can just imagine the amount of ailment that car has been feeling to this point. And now not only that, but he is on the off strategy. Yori still leads his teammate of Ayahuasca as they make their way down the hill towards turn 11. Looks like electric plate. Let's just go through the gains and losses here. Gadiweeb Houdini up 6 positions in the positive direction. Shariah +4. Kate Thomas +3. Good start there for the Racing Bull team. Yuri is obviously taking the spot from his teammate of Ayahuasca. Shankadelic remains stagnant in 3rd. I believe Chuck Blazin has just overtaken Callie Robb. Callie Robb's still +4, and now potentially +5 as they're side by side on the way towards 12. And again, Callie Robb with those, Callie Robb did start the race on the hard tires. Oh, that's a bit of damage there. We didn't notice that initially. On the Haas of Chuck Blazin, he's got wing damage on, what part is that? The right front, the end plate on the right side of the front wing has disappeared, has vanished from that Haas in particular. So Kelly Robb +5, Proto +2. The biggest loser so far has to be Element, of course, having lost 8 positions after having jumped the start, has finally served his drive-through penalty. Juve has lost 7. The Plums has also lost 7, albeit he has just stopped after the front wing damage. He is collected, and Gunner's down 5 as well. And those are the biggest changes there so far in today's Grand Prix. And we're talking about race day not too long ago. How he's about a second behind the top three. He's now within 0.3 of a second here. As the top four cars, and eventually as well, Cam Tizzle not all that far away either. Looking to be a 5-car battle here for the podium places. And I wonder, again, we get to the position where Ayahuasca's going to have a good run coming out of turn 11 on his teammate. I wonder what Ayahuasca's mindset is here, because, again, his teammate's taking him clean. Does he attack? Does he defend? Again, both of those cars, there's only 2 cars that started the race on the hard tires, and so that will obviously mean that the Aston's on the same strategy here. That was a bit of a weird go through the braking zone that time for Ayahuasca. He's lost a little bit. As that's Shankadelic almost within striking distance. Actually, yes, within striking distance here. Ayahuasca lost about 0.4 of a second somehow. Not sure what happened there. Again, a bit of slipping and sliding, getting on the throttle there. We'll check back with these fellas in a minute. We've got some potential battles going on here. Proto, 5 tenths of a second on Chuck Blazin. A little bit late on the brakes, almost getting into the back end of the Haas, but nothing there. Juve back to Element. Houdini about 5 tenths of a second behind Cake again. If any, as we got a yellow flag, that's Element having gone off there. I don't know what's happened with him, but he was in close proximity there with Juve, and suddenly that car was off track. He's quickly regained control, but I don't know what's happened. 3 tenths between the Astons as they snake their way through the S's of Sector 1. Again, the gap that they had, Ayahuasca had the pole position, 3 tenths of a second over his teammate. The rest of the grid was just not even close, honestly. What is close now, however, is Shankadelic to the back end of Ayahuasca, and I tell you what, that Red Bull's in a good position, and I'm not entirely sure Ayahuasca's going to have DRS here. Oh, he does. Okay, he must have just barely got it. He's about 9 tenths of a second behind his teammate entering turn 11 there. I tell you what, that was right close for Ayahuasca losing out on DRS. Shankadelic still trying to find position here. Cam Tizzle, half a second for him. Cam Tizzle and Race Day have been kind of silent partners in this race so far. Haven't really attacked or defended them. Oh, big move there for Houdini. Wow, he really sent that one on Cake Thomas. Glad I was along for that one. That was a hell of a move. Now that's actually going to pit the 2 racing bulls next to each other here. Wheel to wheel they go, and of course 2 very respectful drivers these. Tell you what, Houdini, what a move that was. Nobody saw that one coming. Houdini may even have a shot here at Gottney Weeb for the 7th position, down the pit straight and eventually up the hill. DRS activated, energy being used. It's a bit too far away now. I remember a time in 2020 and 2021 games, if you were anywhere within 0.4 of a second of the car ahead, you were going to have a fair shot of overtaking him, and now these cars just really don't. You got to be right alongside somebody. You're not really going to blow past anybody anymore like you used to be able to. Drismick's going to get 3 seconds here for multiple warnings. We got 3 drivers now running the hard tires. Shariah, Kelly Robb, and of course the Plums, who pit not long ago. 3 drivers have picked up 3-second penalties. Chuck Blazin, Proto, and Drismick. And of course, as you remember, Element with the drive-through penalty for jumping the start. Shankadelic's car does not seem to be as quick in the straight line here. I'm assuming very high downforce setups for all of those in the top 5. As again, you can tell there's not really any advantage being made for, with that 8 of DRS. And as you can tell, when they go kind of through these slow speed sectors here, it is much more close. As we got Proto and Chuck Blazin in a close little battle here. We'll peek on these guys for a little bit. Chuck Blazin, again, has lost the end plate on the right side. That's going to be so unhelpful for him. As we saw, the Plums only lasted 4 or 5 laps with no front wing there, or, even just the end plate missing. Close quarters between the front runners here as, we got a 3-car, but when I say 3-car battle, that is Gottney Weeb into the pit lane. I believe Cake Thomas is well into the pit lane here, so we have a yellow flag That's Chuck Blazin. Oh, Chuck Blazin has stuffed it in the Tech Pro barriers, entering the pit lane. And if he wasn't missing any front wing before, he's absolutely missing it now. It's just gone. It's not there anymore. Unfortunate there for the Haas, and I mean, I don't know. Oh, no. Yeah, well, he did lose quite a bit. It wasn't that much prior to that. Thankfully, he's not hit that at speed. That would have certainly have been a DNF there for Chuck Blazin. Callie Robb and Gunner appear to be side by side, as, of course, Gunner's the ghost of Gunner in P10, so Callie Robb has made that move on the AI. Getting closer to the halfway mark of this Grand Prix. First round of Season 17. Check on now, Shariah. Whoa, way down to the inside of Houdini. Well, I tell you what, Shariah better do the right thing and give that place back. That was way late on the brakes there. And he's actually gone clean into the side of the Haas to be able to get that spot. And well, Shariah hasn't given it up. I don't know. Very clearly not on purpose to dive him like that, I don't think. He did have a genuine lockup, as you could see. And he did just go clean into the side of the Haas there, unfortunately for Houdini. Houdini will think he's been mugged off of the position there, unfortunately, and I would understand why you'd think like that. Pit stop coming up here for Cam Tizzle. I tell you what, these medium tire runners are definitely stopping a little bit earlier than I kind of thought they were going to. Again, the game told us around, what was it, lap 10 to 12, we'd see that stop get made. Or it was actually later than that, wasn't it? It was like 12 to 14, something like that, where we'd see that stop get made for mediums to hards. And as you can see already, some of them deciding to come in here. So down the back straight they go. I tell you what, race day, now within a fair distance here of Shankadelic, potentially into turn 12. Could that move get made? But Ayahuasca's got a good run on his teammate here, and he's backed off, I think, thankfully. That was going to be one hell of a dive there to be able to make that happen, and he's chose not to for this time. But again, I think as well, for the time being, the Astons realize they're on different strategies, right? So they can't ruin each other's races. They realize they're the two fastest cars on track. But I think that the more that they battle with each other, obviously that's not going to be the case anymore. I just wonder who's going to be pitting when. There's no way they double stack them. Race day! Race day's had an off. Yes, he has. That car appears to have gone to the inside, and yet, well, he's gone to the end of the pit lane now. I believe he may or may not have either had contact or maybe lost it to the inside there of turn 16, 17, and 18. You could briefly had seen the grass on the right side tire of the Ferrari in question. I don't know what that was. But a rare error there for the reigning defending champion, as we got a Mercedes off at the horseshoe. That's, I believe, the Plums is taking a bit of a slide there. Race day trying his best to get those tires up to temperature. We'll go back to the battle for the lead here, as it appears Shankadelic's actually gotten around Ayahuasca. I apologize, I've missed that. I'm kind of upset that I've missed that, as a matter of fact. But Ayahuasca, I think, is going to have a good shot here. DRS activated only just now, and yeah, he's already gone clean around Shankadelic. And immediately back to the second position. Again, I wonder what the strategy call is going to be with the Aston Martins in question. I do not... There's no situation, maybe save for a safety car would be the only situation that I see a double stack actually come into play for them, as Callie Robb to the inside of Houdini. Of course, camera director didn't give me a good shot there, but that's okay. Callie Robb to the inside of Houdini that time. That was a good move there from Callie Robb in his debut race with the Mercedes colors. But again, he spent the better part of 5 to 7 seasons as part of the Ferrari team. So this must feel quite weird for him. As I believe, yes, that is going to be Ayahuasca now into the pit lane. Yori will take the overcut here. I don't know if Yori is pulling enough, fast enough laps to be able to make this kind of work in his favor. Into the pit lane as well. That's Electric Blade. Houdini on his way in as well. Hard tires going around for everybody, surely. As Electric Blade makes his way in. Bit of a jumble coming to the pit lane here. Ayahuasca in the mix along with Cam Tizzle. Ayahuasca, he's got to better hope that he's got those tires up to temperature, as Cam Tizzle's right there, and it does take quite a while for those hards to get up to temperature, as Cam Tizzle, as we know, is a great driver in his own right. Oh, but I think he's only just been able to get out of that one. Shankadelic into the proceedings here as well. Only 3 drivers on the grid, sorry, 4, have yet to stop here. That being Yuri, Shariah, Kelly Robb, Gunnar, and Juve. Of course, remember, Shariah and Kelly Robb were the only 2 drivers to start the race on the hard tires. Yuri, Gunnar, and that of Juve are the drivers to have, the only remaining drivers to have started on the mediums and have yet to stop. But again, I don't know what times Yuri's pulling here. I don't think it's going to be good enough to realistically be able to stay ahead of that of Ayahuasca. Kind of doubt it, honestly. Yeah, I think we're going to see a new leader here. Yuri into the pit lane. Hard tires going on for him, surely. Shariah making his way around the line now. I don't expect Shariah to stop for another couple of laps still. Drizmik's going to get a 3-second penalty here for multiple warnings, and Ayahuasca, well, Yuri is definitely out of the pit box, but, yep, there goes Ayahuasca to the top. Got a look at the penalty tracker now. A couple of drivers towards the back, as Yuri is going to exit the pit lane here, right in and amongst it. As you can see, struggling to get those hard tires up to temperature. Just get that shine off of him. He's out behind Race Day, Shankadelic, and Cam Tizzle, as we see Juve entering the pit lane now. And Yuri, of course, having the battle with the ghost of Gunnar past here. So after that, Shariah is going to lead this race. Shariah and Kelly Robb, again, the 2 drivers to have yet to stop here after having started on the hard tires. They will be, I'm sure, making their ways in quite soon. If you are of the Canadian sort, or if you're like me and you like the Blue Jays, the situation currently top of the 6th. Blue Jays winning 5-1. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at the plate. I believe the pitcher now Vargas for Seattle after, I believe previous 2 pitchers have been taken out since then. Max Scherzer, I believe, has pitched his last inning as well. Went into the 60s in the pitch count, which if you've known Max Scherzer this season, has definitely struggled when batting this season, as Kiner-Falefa fails to lay down the bunt just then. I don't make the count 1 and 2. I apologize. I actually work for, if little known fact about me, I actually do work for the Toronto Blue Jays within their minor league system, doing broadcast production, so kind of playing for the home team here. Ayahuasca to the inside of Kelly Robb up the hill in towards turn 1, and he'll make that one. I don't want to say look easy, because Kelly Robb's going to try to have it right back down to the left side, but he's just not going to get away fast enough here, unfortunately. As Gunnar entering the pit lane, obviously the ghost of Gunnar. At the line this time, we'll be halfway through. I want to thank you all for joining me. Those of you still here, appreciate the support that having joined and watched this session. Thank you very much for having done that. As Yuri is going to get a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. That's unfortunate for him. In a position where he could eventually win this race, that's not what you need. Ayahuasca to the inside of Shariah, and I believe that's going to be made relatively easy there with the fresh tires from Ayahuasca. And, of course, Ayahuasca as well is going to get DRS, having already overtaken him. Cam Tizzle now to the inside of Kelly Robb. He'll make that happen. And Kelly Robb's now going to worry about Shankadelic and Race Day entering this picture as well. Because, yeah, Kelly Robb is going to now be overtaken by Shank, and now potentially Race Day having a try around the outside. Yeah, and still trying to hold on here. Wow, okay. So dropping like a rock. Is that a Shankadelic? Kelly Robb even still. As Yuri's going to get past him. I think this has got to be the stop here. No, Kelly Robb's going to stay out again. That's a bold decision. Is he waiting for a safety car? I don't know. Probably not the best decision. Cam Tizzle will put Coleslaw to bed there for the second position. Now has a second behind. That of Ayahuasca. Oh, that was a big wiggle there for Shankadelic. I apologize. You only just caught a glimpse of it at the top of your screen. But Shankadelic was all sorts out of shape. There's, Shankadelic into the back end of race day, into the Tech Pro barrier on the inside. The reigning champion. After the contact made with the Red Bull there to no fault of his own, that car into the barriers, and thankfully he's got it going again with minimal, if no damage at all. Oh, but goodness me, race day's not going to be happy about that one. Totally involved in an incident not of his own. And again, very thankful that he has kept that car out of harm's way. Of course, I believe he did make contact with the barrier there, but he was not in position to, obviously, DNF and bin the car. That was definitely scary there as Yori to the inside. Ayahuasca's now picked up 3 seconds of penalty. Okay. Starting to see some of those at the top end of the grid pick up penalties. Ayahuasca on 3 seconds now. That could open the door for Cam Tizzle. Yori and Shankadelic were battling quite well there through turns 12, 13, and 14. Has since ceded position there to the Red Bull. Will now be back to the 4th position. Shariah could be having to defend from Kelly Robb. I just wonder again when these two will decide to stop here. Maybe are they trying to play it as long as they can and maybe stop for a set of softs? That'd be a bold strategy and one that I don't think would work, but hey. I applaud creativity above all else. Exiting 19, headed for 20. Shankadelic. Well, I tell you what, okay, I don't think that was a planned overtake there from Yori. That car was full smoke in the braking zone, up the hill, clinging to the inside of Shankadelic, and Shank has since re-overtaking them as what appeared to be just a huge lockup there from the Aston Martin in question. He's since got that car going again, although I would have to imagine that is going to be some sort of tire wear now on the fronts of that Aston Martin. Oh, big slide from Shariah. Well, I tell you what, again, thankful not to hit anything. That car winds up in the gravel. And that going up the hill through turns 9 and in towards turn... Oh, what is that? Turn... yeah, that is turn 9 at that point. Yeah, quite lucky to have not hit the barriers there. Of course, you forget sometimes the car can get unsettled. Going up through that section of the track, as he's just found out, is Yori back down to the inside of Shank, back up to the 3rd for him. Of course, penalties still yet to be applied. That'll come at the end of the race, naturally. And, of course, I think we have that. If I had to bet, I would say there's probably a penalty coming to Shank for the contact at the back end of race day. Not entirely sure, but I would definitely think so. Check on Kate Thomas here, trying to hunt down Gottney Weeb. Electric Blade attempting to join the fray in this one as well. Coming up closer on 10 laps to go here from the Circuit of the Americas. Into the pit lane now, I believe. Is that going to be Callie Robb? No, it isn't Callie Robb. Is that Shariah? Well, that's not good. I believe as Shariah tried to find his way into the pit lane, and he is... actually missed the entry to pit lane there. Thankfully, did not hit the Tech Pro barrier. But as that way, we saw Chuck Blazin do that in the Haas earlier on. Yeah, quite lucky to have not done that. It appears Shankadelic may have had a trip through the gravel not too long ago. A bit of dirt then on the camera lens. Race day potentially trying to have a look here at Kelly Robb, of course, again. And that one done easily there. Kelly Robb, 16-lap-old hard tires. As after Shariah's stop, he dropped down to 16th position. Of course, had that little bit of an error entering the pit lane. But, yeah, I would expect more or less the same there for Kelly Robb. He'll be dropping quite a few positions after that. Look a little bit further towards the back. We do have Shariah on the back end of Chuck Blazin, of course, on those fresh medium tires. Only a couple of tenths behind the Haas in question, as I don't believe we're going to be having any jostling about in the top 5 for the time being. Race day's actually since clawed his way back into relatively close position. As Yori's actually going to set the fastest lap here with a 1:36.627. Shariah up to 15th. Good looking move that was. Yuri to the back end of Cam Tizzle, very close indeed, only 0.3 of a second. Starting to get a little bit cloudy here. I don't believe we're slated for rain. I haven't been told that we will be. You know, usually if there is rain on tap, I'll get a message in the Discord saying, hey, we've got a percentage of rain. That has not happened. And if it has, then I didn't pay attention. Could go either way, realistically, with that sort of thing. Comes Yuri to the back end here of Cam Tizzle. Always going to have to be a hell of a dive here. Of course, Cam Tizzle had DRS to the back marker of Drizmic ahead. I believe that's the only reason that Yuri's not been able to make that move that time. Tell you what, though. Cloud's definitely beginning to form. We didn't really have cloud cover earlier on. It's definitely looking a bit gloomy out now, potentially. Still about 10 laps to go. Anything is possible, especially 10 laps to go. Sky's looking gray. Minute and a half lap time. I'm saying rain could be on the cards here. Not saying yes or no. But it'd be pretty cool if we did. I think that would definitely be a wrench thrown into the plans here of everybody involved. Callie Robb finally enters the pit lane here, and it's medium tires only for him. Let's see. Gunner, of course, hasn't joined the session, unfortunately for him. Shiraya, 0.5 of a second behind Juve for the 14th position. Up the hill towards turn 1, potentially. We'll have a look at Element real quick. Was a couple of tenths behind that of Proto, but Shiraya will make his way up the inside of Juve in towards turn 1. Good-looking move from him. Alpine was not able to get back to that. Although now, as I check in, that was Yuri. Yuri and Cam Tizzle had a little bit of a battle there. I think somebody must have either had a walk-up there or kind of had a bit of a late break, because there was no way that should have been as close as it is. So here's the situation with 10 laps to go. Ayahuasca with a 3-second advantage over his teammate, Yuri. Of course, both Aston Martins having 3-second penalties here, but what I will say is this. Currently, Ayahuasca, half a second to the good on being able to negate that penalty, and to be able to get away with this win scot-free. Yuri with the 3-second penalty. Of course, he'll be dropping quite a few positions by the looks of it. Once that penalty is applied, that'll move Shank up to second. Cam to second, Shank to third, Race Day to fourth, and again, we do think there could be a penalty on the way for Shankadelic after having made contact with Race Day that pretty much took him out of contention, at least for the time being. You never know, though. Race Day's quite quick and is starting to kind of shave that time off, but as far as taking the win is concerned, I believe that's probably not going to happen after this. Cake Thomas, 0.6 of a second behind Gottney Weeb. This for the 6th position. Cake Thomas in that Visa Cash App Racing Bull, +4 on the day. Gottney Weeb, +7. Great days for the both of them. Driver of the day, as far as that's concerned, currently I still think belongs to Callie Robb, and now on the medium tires as well, could even pick up even more positions. Certainly possible. As Element and Proto side by side exiting turn 1. I pressed the wrong button there. And Element looks like he'll keep the 12th. A shame for Element, I was having a good day as far as qualifying was concerned, and then with that penalty just really has taken him out of contention today. Shame to see, but it does happen to the best of us, it does. Shankadelic now a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Okay. So this result is pretty much turned on top of its head here. Well, I tell you what, I was kind of thinking we were going to get a dogfight here between Cam Tizzle and Shankadelic for what was eventually going to be the 2nd position. As it turns out now, Race Day could very well be in position to at least get himself on the podium here. That'd be huge for Race Day after the day he's had. Kelly Robb now with the fastest lap, a 1:35.837 on those medium tires for the Mercedes in question. Sky's still looking a bit gray here. I think we're probably past the point of worrying about rain, though, unfortunately. Four-tenths of a second. You can just see how far to the inside. Yori tried to... What the hell was that? Yori tried to go low there to try to break that toe as much as he could. Cam Tizzle followed along, and, well, it's worked that time, that's for sure. We as well have Cake Thomas looking to get to the back end of Gottney Weeb for the 6th position. Electric Blade could be trying to poke his head on that battle as well. This is quite interesting here. Race Day, I think, may have made a mistake. Something has happened with Race Day. Not too long ago, he's about 2.7. Behind that of Shankadelic, he's now 3.3.5, 3.4. I'm not entirely sure, but I think Race Day may have made another small error somewhere along the line. As Houdini up to 10th now. Coming up on the last 5 laps of the Grand Prix, and again, Ayahuasca has the top spot. Hasn't led since the beginning of the race, having been on pole, and Yori, his teammate, had taken the top spot immediately away from him, having gone through the S's of Sector 1. This is really the first time of the Grand Prix that he has, been in control of this race. Yori in second. I tell you what, the penalty will be applied to him and he'll lose a couple of spots, but he has impressed me today. He has done a phenomenal job. Not only in racing as much as he has, but as clean as he has. With the cars around him. He's definitely done such a great job here, kind of inserting himself into the picture for what could be an exciting championship season. And as well, don't forget, next time out we head to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City. I think I got that right. I'm literally about as far away from Mexico as you could possibly get. Forgive me for not knowing my Spanish, but unfortunately. But no, I tell you what, definitely looking forward to that one. Mexico always brings us great entertainment as well. As well as then the Albert Park Circuit in Melbourne, Australia for round 3 the night before Halloween. That should be a good one. So for the time being, penalties applied. Ayahuasca keeps the top spot by about 0.8 of a second. Yore will lose 2. He'll lose to Cam Tizzle and Shank. He won't lose it to Race Day, and at this point I don't even think... Well, he'll definitely lose it to Cam Tizzle. Not sure about Shank. Shank obviously having the 3-second penalty of his own. And then as well, for the time being, Shank looks like he'll hold on to the 4th position. With Race Day not able to get close enough to him to be able to take advantage of that penalty for the time being. Race Day could also be saving his tires. Race Day is a very, very intelligent driver, to say the least. He can absolutely save tires and make his presence known towards the back end of a race, and I would definitely bet my hat that that's probably what he's doing. Try an element through turn 1. Good-looking battle there. Looks like this round's victory will be taken by Shiraya as Cam Tizzle's going to get around Yori here way down to the inside through turn 12. And yeah, he's made that one happen. Well, great move there from Cam Tizzle. Yori drops to 3rd. Of course, we'll still... And again, let's not forget, this is a straight-up dogfight here between Shankadelic and Yori for that 3rd position. As, of course, neither of them, for the time being, is going to lose out to that of Race Day 2016, still 0.5 of a second behind, being able to take the spots after penalties applied. So, battle here for the 3rd spot, potentially even still 2nd if Cam Tizzle's to make an error. Down the pit straight they go. Yore looks to the outside. Oh, he's not going to have it now. Cam Tizzle's defended that line well, but potentially now to the inside if Cam fails to get on acceleration, and no. That brings Shankadelic into position now. I would expect as well, now that we're starting to get to the end of tire lives here, and again, Cam Tizzle had more of a undercut compared to those around him. I would assume Cam Tizzle is starting to get to the danger zone as far as his tires are concerned. And if an error is to be made, it's certainly possible. For the time being, as well, as you can see, is now losing time to Ayahuasca. That gap from Ure to Ayahuasca when Ure was in the second spot was about 3.7, 3.8. It's now up to 5, as now Ure round the outside, and the Aston Martin will retake the second position. Shankadelic now. Could he potentially have a look on that of Cam Tizzle? No. But what I will say is this. Race day is now even more in position. 3.3? 3.2, the gap to that Red Bull of Shankadelic. That's huge there for race day. Oh, and look at this now, 2.8, and I think as well what's happening is potentially, maybe just doing his best with saving his tires, and now those involved battling with each other. It's certainly possible Race Day is going to steal one here and get himself into the podium positions. Could be. Have a look at them in a minute. Callie Robb to the inside of Electric Blade. Electric Blade still trying the right side, and as they make their way through the triple right hand to the Sauber, looks as if he's going to hold on to this one for the time being. Though again, Callie Robb on those medium tires, definitely the quicker out of the two. Next time by will be 3 laps to go here from Circuit of the Americas. DRS activated up the hill in towards turn 1. Let's see if Callie Robb will try something here. Oh, he's absolutely lunging for it now. And wow, has he made it happen? It's going to have to be on acceleration. Yes, he has. What a move from Callie Robb. That one was pretty. Meanwhile, Race Day now within 2 seconds of Shankadelic. We were just talking about how not long ago he was very much on the outside looking in. He is officially on the inside looking in, I'd say. And again, as those cars ahead of him battle with each other, that has absolutely helped him. And I think now maybe what has happened is now that the battle is began to settle up ahead. Maybe was that just temporary success there as Drisvik's got a 10er for corner cutting, unfortunately. Element's now got 3 seconds penalty. A lot of penalties being picked up here. Of course, Racing Line is available for this Grand Prix. And, sometimes it does just happen. Of course, nobody's safe from track limits penalties in this game, unfortunately. But slightly more than we're usually accustomed to seeing. Even still, these Division 1 drivers, some of the best that I've had the pleasure of commentating on. Commentated a couple of leagues in my day, good 4 or 5 anyway, and this is by far still some of the best that I've seen. Shankadelic, will he decide to have a look around the outside of Cam Tizzle through 1? No, he's actually going to try to maybe potentially switch him back down, and no, doesn't get the real estate to make it happen. 3 laps to go here from Circuit of the Americas, and now Race Day 2016 within 2 seconds of the cars ahead. As we have a yellow flag, that's at the hairpin, and that is, I want to say that's Proto. Proto has gone around, unfortunately for him, and he has dropped a fair bit of positions there. Hopefully he's not hit anything. Just a trip through the grass, but even still, shame there for Proto. Good battle going on here for the 6th position. Gottney Weeb leads Callie Robb by about a second. Callie Robb leads Kate Thomas by about 4/10. Kate Thomas leads Electric Blade by about 4/10. Good-looking battle this in the midfield. But of course, more pressing matters to attend to as Shankadelic around the outside. Oh, big lock up there from Cam Tizzle. He's still somehow, I don't know how he managed to do that, held on to the inside, and even still wheel-to-wheel now versus the Red Bull as Race Day watches on and hopes for calamity. Tell you what, it was actually a bit of luck there for Cam Tizzle, because as that car locked up, that thing was full tilt to that left-hand side. That back end was way on its way around, but kind of thankfully had it pointed in the right direction for the exit phase of the corner. I don't know if Cam Tizzle's Irish or not, but that's a pretty good indication he might have some in his genes. Race Day 2016, and believe it or not, now within DRS range. Like, what the hell is this? Shankadelic. Oh, has he done that because of the penalty? Oh, it could be. Has he made an error there? I don't know what's happened. He's really gotten out of the way and now files in behind Race Day, and I can only think of 2 things. Either something has happened to having lost control of that car and something off-screen that we can't see, or he's given that spot back with the potential penalty that would be coming his way for the contact that was made between the two of them. either way. That puts Race Day now up to 4th, and he's within about a second of that of Cam Tizzle with about a lap and a half remaining here. Electric Blade, by the way, half a second behind that of Cake Thomas up the hill through 9 and eventually down the hill through 10 and 11. And oh, look at this. Now this is something I didn't expect to have to talk about. So, of course, all square between the top two. Cam Tizzle teetering on the outside of being more than 3 seconds behind the top two. Yuri could hold on to the second position. Wow, and what a result that would be for Yuri, and still only about a 10th to the good there. Race Day 2016, of course, he's going to be now battling with Cam Tizzle for the 3rd spot outright. And again, Cam Tizzle's tires, much older. Well, I say much older, they certainly look much older. They've been acting much older. Final lap of the Grand Prix underway. And this is really gut check time now for Cam Tizzle. Does he have enough to hold on after Race Day was definitely saving his tires for quite a ways, and now finds himself in position as Vladimir Guerrero will go deep at the wall, and it's a 6-2 game. Toronto, you're doing me great. Oh, Ayahuasca! An additional 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Just when you thought that the result was his, nuh-uh, as now Yuri, after all has happened in this one, looks as if he'll be taking the win here. Wow, okay. Drama unfolding here in the late stages. What I will say is that Ayahuasca looks like he'll keep second after Cam Tizzle 3.5 seconds behind Yuri. As we forgot to mention, by the way, Race Day and Cam Tizzle still battling for that final podium position, and unless Yuri really cocks up his last stages of the lap here, he will be taking the win in what I believe is his first ever Division 1 Grand Prix. Could you believe that? Well, Ayahuasca, as we got Cali Robb and Gottney Weave. Good move there, it looked from Cali Robb. Race Day is going to be a little bit far away from being able to make it happen on Cam Tizzle. Yuri Candelario, winner round 1. Wait, what? That's not right. What the hell? Ayahuasca had 6 seconds of penalty, did he not? Did Yuri lose it coming out of the final corner? What happened there? Ayahuasca is being shown as the winner here. Yuri Candelario looked as if he was gonna win this race. And he's down by a 10th. I don't know what's just happened. I don't know. Ayahuasca's your winner, I guess. Cam Tizzle will finish 3rd. Race Day with a good charge there at the end finishes 4th. Shankadelic 5th. Cali Robb 6th. Gottney Weave 7th. Cake Thomas 8th. Electric Blade in 9th. And the Ghost of Gunner, of course, I don't believe he'll be scored for this one, but will finish in 10th. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us here this time out from COTA. Be sure to join us next week when we head to Mexico City for round 2 of Season 17 of the Midwest F1 League Hotspot. It has been a pleasure joining you once again on the call here, and I'll see you next time.